Hello, my name's Mike and I'm one of the co-directors of the National Young Writers Festival in 2020, and I'm broadcasting from the Gadigal land of the Eora people. Thank you so much for tuning in to our fourth and final reading of National Young Writers Festival 2020. This late night reading is called I'm Monologuing, and it's a celebration of writing for performance and for theatre. We're incredibly lucky today to have three fantastic writers for theatre with us, Brooke Robinson, Chika Ikogwe and Noemi Hartnakoros. It's a real privilege to have all of these writers, and we can't wait to have them on screen reading for you. Also, because we had an opportunity open up at the last minute, in the interest of filling the time, I might read one myself as well. But you're not here to listen to me, you're here to listen to them. And so without further ado, I'd like to pass on to our first writer. Brooke Robinson is a playwright from Western Sydney, now based in Australia and London. Her work has been commissioned and produced by Sydney's Griffin Theatre Company, the Old Fitzroy Theatre, Tamarama Rock Surfers, as well as London's Old Vic Theatre and Vault Festival. She's won the 2020 Lysicrides Playwriting Prize for Comedy. Take it away, Brooke.
Hi, good evening. I'm also on Gadigal land of the Eora Nation. This one's called Dangerous Lenses, and I'm going to read you the first few minutes. No sleep tonight. An end of the world party in flat number 7 for the black hole doomsday theorists. Black balloons, black streamers on the letterbox. What are they drinking down there? Bourbon, cola, molasses? Put my glasses on, look out the window, more guests arriving, costume black from head to toe. Dozens of them file in from parked cars. They're all blurry around the edges like black ants lured to the sticky front door. And here you are, white shirt, blonde hair, moving into flat number 4. Moving in right now, how strange in the middle of the night. A cut of light focuses on you, around 40, a bit messy, tradie. You don't have many boxes and no removalists. You drag some furniture across the common lawn, all wood, flammable. 2 partygoers stop. Offer help, you shake your head without looking up. Look up at me, I'm over here, 2nd floor, through the glass. Can you see me? From my kitchen window, I can see into most of the flats in this block. Yours for one. It's the slope of the U-shaped building. You unpack the boot of your car, I can see a little girl with you. She's pretty, pink dress, 5 or 6 years old, awake at this hour. She runs across the grass, waving one of the black balloons from the letterbox. Her legs tangle, she trips, falls flat. The balloon escapes to the black sky. You drop a chest of drawers, rush over, pick her up, and both go inside your new flat. My doorbell rings. I put one eye between the blinds. A man, not you, not yet, clutching a bottle of dark liquid. I shake my head and point toward the floor. Thanks for watching. Oh,
I'm so sorry, Brooke. I totally cut you off there. It's incredibly rude. I'm a very aggressive moderator. Our next writer this evening is Chika Ikogwe. She's a Nigerian-Australian actor and writer. She's a recent acting graduate of the National Institute of Dramatic Art. As a writer, Chika has written for Audrey Journal, co-written a play called The House at Boundary Road, Liverpool, which made its world premiere at the Old 505 Theatre in November of 2019, and has an upcoming work in development with Green Door Theatre Company. She's also the current recipient of the Rose Byrne Scholarship with ATYP. Thank you very much, and I'll take it away, Chika.
Hi everyone, my name's Chika and I'm also reporting from Gadigal land of the Eora Nation. And this monologue comes from Boundary Road, the house at Boundary Road, Liverpool, which Mike mentioned earlier in my bio. Yo, it's your girl Chioma. So today I got to tell you about the boy that I've had a crush on for the longest time. It's probably the biggest crush that's ever existed, to BH. Like, I get ready for school early just so I can catch the bus at 7:50 a.m. I know you live so close to school, Chama, just walk. But Adrian catches the bus, so it lets us spend some quality time together. Well, it lets me spend some quality time sitting a few rows away from him so I can stare from afar. I'll never get enough of that silky blonde hair, that crinkled shirt that he never irons, that sweet smell of his Lynx Africa. Lynx Africa. Smells like home. That's what some of the boys at school say to me. Lynx must smell like home to you. I laugh because they laugh, but I don't find it that funny. Anyway, I catch the bus so I can look at Adrian. I'd be way too scared to actually talk to him. Yeah. No. Ever since he and I were put in the same maths class, my crush has grown even bigger and I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I'm really good at math and he kind of sucks, talks a lot. So I sit next to him and help him out. Only a teensy bit though. Okay, I solve most of his problems for him, but there's already a huge improvement in his grades. So I guess I'm helping him out in a weird kind of way. So get this, right? The other week, I was sitting next to Adrian and the boys. They always get so distracted. No wonder the grades are bad. Lol. Anyway, the boys were talking about all the things that make a perfect girl. I normally don't get involved in those dumb conversations, but that day I had time, so I listened in. Oh, she's Steph's got to be curvy. Nah, bro, she's got to be skinny. That Kardashian shit is too much. So skinny like Jess. Yeah, like Jess. They all agree. Jess's body is the winner for body type. I look down at my big-boned body, collarbones thick and thighs wide. I'm definitely not like Jess. Whatever. Hair? Oh, bro, long. Yeah, hair's got to be long for sure. Look, I don't want to entertain this, but I can't help but think about how my long braids go past my waist. Check. What color? Probably blonde, hey. Oh, yeah, blonde for sure, with blue eyes. I listen as the boys build the perfect girl that gets further and further from me by the word. Soph? Nah, Soph's pale AF. I don't want to go out with Casper the Ghost. How about Tash? Nah, too dark. Yeah, true. Shania? Tilly. Yeah, Tilly! Once again, they all agreed that the skin tone of their perfect girl is one that's 5 shades lighter than me. It's cool though. It's cool because you know what? It's all going to change at Leah's party. I'm buying this sequin dress from Sports Girl tomorrow night. Oof! Adrian's going to see me and be like, damn! Forget Tilly, Choma, you the one. You are it. What was I thinking? Oh! I hope. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you so much, Chika. The next writer that we have this evening is Noemi Hutnakoros. She's an emerging queer Yiddish Jewish performance maker, writer, dramaturg, and community organizer. Noemi's practice engages with sites and histories where ecological crisis, queer culture, community building, and composting occur. Noemi is an organizer of arts and cultural workers for climate action, a co-director of interdisciplinary performance group Can Collective. Her work has taken place in black box theatres, alleyways, dinner parties, and galleries. It's fantastic to have you, Noemi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noemi, and I am here on beautiful Wajak Noongar country in the southwest of WA. This is an excerpt from my show, The Troublemakers. It's a dinner party for 20 people. So just imagine that we're all sitting around, you've got a glass of wine, and we're going to have a boogie to begin. All right. And normally I would just shower you with kisses. But today, I'm just going to pop them all over the screen, just to you over there, and you, and you, and you, and you. So my name is Noemi Cecilia Hutnakoros, and this is sort of The Troublemakers. Anyway, I'm just really glad to have you here today. I've got some really big things I need to get off my chest. And I mean, thanks for coming, first of all. Thanks for coming to this party. Thanks for responding to the invite, being ready to boogie. So, a toast to all of you. Cheers. And I mean, a toast to me. Cheers. This is a party to plan something tentacular, something critter-like. You know, James Baldwin was like, I can't be a pessimist because I'm alive. I'm forced to believe that we can survive. So cheers to James. Power saturates. Power structures the ways we move, speak, who gets to speak, what about, and when we get to dance. But power can be challenged. Power can be fucked with. Power can be fucked. So this is a party for the new world, a party for the old world, a party to party all parties. So here I am on Noongar Budja. And my friends, where else are we? What oceans are we surrounded by? Now, on one side, we have the Pacific Ocean, to the other, the Indian Ocean, to the north, the Timor Sea, and to the south, we have Antarctica, the largest ice-covered landmass, the driest and windiest place in the world. We're also in the southern hemisphere of a planet that's got an atmosphere, a biosphere, a life support system more varied and splendid than I will ever understand. And I am okay with that. You know, I'm happy. Now, Earth is the third planet from the sun in the Milky Way, galaxy of the universe, the cosmos. And I read on the NASA Kids website that a galaxy is a collection of gas, dust, and billions of stars in their solar systems, all held together by gravity. Ah, yes, beautiful. Held as in floating, balanced, suspended, hugged. And when are we? Well, the date is the 4th of October, and according to a sort of agreed upon concept of time, here where I am, it's around 7:12 p.m. The year is 2020, of course, only in relation to the death of Jesus Christ, but it could be another year. In the Hebrew calendar, we're in the year 5781. In the Ethiopian calendar, it's currently 2013. We're also living in a geological time. There was the first geological epoch called the Precambrian, which actually comprised about 88% of geologic time, 4,500 million years. Then came the age of invertebrates, the age of fishes, the age of amphibians, reptiles, the age of mammals. And today we live during, you know, what is sort of speculatively called, and it's definitely contested, the epoch called the Anthropocene, an era of geological time in which human impact, or some of humanity's impacts on the Earth, is the predominant factor in the composition of climate and ecology, from chicken bones to plutonium, microplastics to open-cut coal mines, written into the strata record, read and transcribed from sheets of rock, the keepers of deep time. A little bit more on this later, but first I need to talk to you about compost. Now, composting requires 3 basic ingredients. We've got our browns, which are our dead leaves and our twigs. Then, these supply carbon. Then our greens, some grass, veggie waste, fruit scraps, coffee grounds. Then, these supply nitrogen. And then the water, good old H2O. Moisture is important to support the composting process. They say compost should be comparable to the wetness of a wrung-out sponge. If the pile is too dry, materials will decompose very slowly. Old scraps transformed through practices of care and attention, becoming nutrient-rich new soil. I love compost. Composting is like knowledge. Matters break down and re-emerge as new matters. So everything we talk about and do tonight, all of it is compost. So that idea about compost comes from 2 extraordinary women, Donna Haraway and Marilyn Strahern. They're researchers, scientists, authors. Donna loves dogs. Marilyn loves flamenco dancing. But anyway, it begins with Marilyn. Marilyn says, it matters what ideas we use to think other ideas. Donna loves this. She loves this. It matters what ideas we use to think other ideas. She says, it matters what thoughts think thoughts. It matters what knowledges know knowledges. It matters what relations relate relations. It matters what worlds world worlds. It matters what stories tell stories. And there we have it, my friends. A lineage of women scientists creating a practical philosophy, a gospel for living and dying in the 21st century. So just chew on that, because I've been thinking about this, how our tools are broken, that the stories we use to tell the story of global warming matters. Maybe we've got the wrong story. Maybe we're telling it the wrong way. because it matters what stories tell stories. It matters what worlds. Okay, and it matters because this whole climate change, global warming thing is a hyper object, which is this term coined by this philosopher, Timothy Morton, to refer to things that are massively distributed in time and space relative to humans, like a black hole or the Great Barrier Reef or all the combined minds in Australia. And when we talk about hyperobjects, we're talking about profoundly different timescales and temporalities than the white Western Eurocentric models of timescales we're used to. Hyperobjects are things we can't point to directly. We can't hold them in our hands, but we know that they're there. Instead, we infer it from graphs, instruments, sunburn, rain clouds, dry creek beds. We see global warming in fits and fragments, figments and starts. Timothy says, I start the engine of my car. Liquefied dinosaur bones burst into flames. I walk up a chalky hill. Billions of pulverized undersea creatures grip my shoes. I hammer a nail. In consistent layers of ore, bacteria deposited the iron in Earth's crust. I walk on top of life forms. Oil is the result of some dark, secret collusion between rocks and algae and plankton millions and millions of years in the past. When you look at oil, you're looking at the past. Hyperobjects are time stretched to such a vast extent that they become impossible to hold in mind. I remember the Canberra bushfires of 2003. I'm 6 years old. I remember sitting around our old radio listening to The Suburbs Under Threat. I remember my dad cleaning the gutters. I remember black leaves raining down like ash. I remember the sky looked like a zombie movie. I remember year 3. I'm 9 years old. I remember my teacher, Mrs. Bartum, is like, hey, kids, how are your projects going? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm making these icebergs out of wax and they're gonna melt into this blue ocean. It's a sort of diorama art science thing. I remember the first rally about climate change I went to, but people called it global warming more back then. It was called Walk Against Warming. I was 11. I remember I bought the Walk Against Warming t-shirt from a stall and I wore it over the top of this white long sleeve shirt I had on and ironically overheated. I remember complaining to my dad about how hot I was. I remember there were all these people showing off these renewable energy inventions they'd built. I remember there was this guy who'd built a solar-powered barbecue. I remember that he looked really proud. Plants in my garden and the sun shines. Plants in my garden and my belly's full. There is a way to be whole again. There is a way to be whole again. You and I, we're gonna rise up. You and I, we're gonna rise up. No more, no more, no more. Thanks so much for having me, and I hope that we can meet for dinner sometime.
Thank you so much, Noemi. That was fantastic. And it's such a thrill to have such a broad and diverse range of forms this evening. Forms and tones. It's, a real testament to how exciting live performance can actually be and the many different ways that it can present itself. I'm going to quickly read something myself now, just to fill the time before the end of the event. In this monologue, I am a person called Sandra, and I just want to make it known that the events of this monologue are something that was told to me by a stranger at a party. This is not something that would naturally come into my own head. I had a cat up until recently, little tabby named Ginger Sam. It's a pretty strange story, actually. Yeah, really old cat, a really scraggly little scamp, came with us every time we moved, and we bought him when he was only 2 from a little kitty rescue in Neutral Bay. The precious little thing. But by the end of it, he was really old and sick. He'd sort of hobble around the house, used to hide under the china cabinet all the time, and he had this terrible wheeze that made his whole body shake. It was awful to watch. Went on for almost a year. I took him to our vet a few times, Dr. Pickler, but he essentially said there wasn't much we could do, so I'd just always take him home again and try and make sure he was well fed and comfy. Eventually, though, I just got so sad watching him try and shuffle around the place that I decided I really ought to do something, so I took him back to the vet to get him put to sleep. Yes, except Ginger Snap was very small, very frail cat, and Dr. Pickle took one look at him and told me it would cost me $180 to have him euthanized, which I feel is outrageous. She told me it was a flat rate, which is silly because he was tiny and clearly already dying. But she wouldn't budge on it. I offered her $150 instead, but she's a real ice queen, so after a while I just told her we wouldn't be needing her services and I left. The whole car ride home, start to finish, the poor thing was retching and wheezing in his little carrier. It made me want to cry, I felt so bad. So once we got home, I got my iPad out and I Googled humane ways to kill a cat, and after a while I found a blog from a woman who had broken the neck of a cat she'd accidentally run over with a Jeep Cherokee, and I thought, jackpot! If she could do it, so could I. So I looked up how, and once I thought I'd learned the essentials, I walked over to where he was sleeping on the arm of the couch, and I put my hands into position. But something must have kicked in back in the days with his first family, because instantly he figured me out. I don't know where all the energy came from, but he was twisting and kicking and hissing. Somewhere in the commotion, he got himself twisted around in my hand and dug his claws into my arm. I think I might have even punched him in his little cat head. But he clawed his way up and ripped a big chunk out of my neck. I've got a scar, see? And I was screaming and trying to pull him off, but he was fighting like there was no tomorrow. At one point, there was a big crack and he just howled so loud. It was terrible. I think I may have broken one of his little cat ribs. And I can tell you now, that was one of the worst sounds I've ever heard. Eventually, though, I managed to pull him off, but in the process, he tore a big hole in my cheek. And just as I sort of thrown him off me, Ian walks in the door and I'm beside myself, covered head to toe in blood, and I just keep yelling, "Kill him, Ian, kill him!" And he doesn't know what's going on, but by this point, poor old Ginger Snap's made it outside and he's pulling himself along the grass, all injured and wheezing. Then, of course, Ian just runs out into the backyard, hits him with a shovel, and that's that. You should have seen the look on his face when he came back in. Boy, was he cross with me. With good reason, though, of course. He didn't know what had gone on. Anyway, I felt terrible about it for days. In hindsight, I should have just poisoned his food. Thank you, everyone. It's been lovely having you all here tonight, and thank you so much to the three writers who've joined us. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to have you this evening. This is the final reading of the National Young Writers Festival and the second last event of the whole festival. The last event is the Stream of Consciousness event, which is going on right now. If you head to the program and go to Sunday, you'll be able to see it. It's a really lovely, gorgeous event, a collection of a number of fantastic different writers. I would really highly recommend that you go over and have a look. But also, I would just like to extend a huge thank you on behalf of the National Young Writers Festival to all of the people that have tuned in this year and to all of our fantastic writers. It has been such a joy to work on this, and I know that I speak for the whole team. It's a real privilege, and we cannot thank you enough. And that's enough of me. So I'm going to sign off, and have a good night.